So we're back and better than ever, as they say. We were talking about this, I guess the Tuesday, 6 p.m. game. Definitely cuts into the pasta and the meatballs. But so the Port Southside game looked like it was a barn burner.
Yeah. Let's continue with that game because we want to really go in depth here. So anyway, so for Southside, yeah, they got the comeback win after trailing 6-3 in the fourth quarter. Like I was saying earlier, Annie Trementi had what was the game winner, but again, Charlotte Rathjen big on the draw for Southside, and again, Tara Cody in the net where that was a goalie battle in that first half. Sienna Conley, the defender going to Northwestern. She actually scored in that game as well. And I was left wondering, like, how did she score that goal? It was like through a double team, like somehow just kind of forced her way inside and able to score. But so kind of big on both ends of the field for Southside. But that's a nice comeback win for them because I was looking there for a while, like Port Washington was going to hold on and take that game.
Who's stepping up for Port?
Yeah, so for Port, Hayes Hassett in goal. I thought she had a really great game, and that was part of the reason why I thought Port Washington was going to win that one. She stepped up big in the net, especially in that first half. Also, Lily Capabianco, the midfielder for Port Washington, she had 3 goals in that one. Sienna Fox with a couple goals for them as well, especially down the stretch in that fourth quarter when they built that 3-goal lead. So Port, those are some of their standouts. But again, just a really, really good game and one that, again, got to give credit to Southside for being able to come back in that one in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I've noticed. I mean, this as we're putting all the scores in and covering all these games, the Power Conference. I mean, every game is 1 goal in overtime. I mean, Long Beach, Cold Spring Harbor, Port goes to 3 overtimes. Last night, Manhasset Cold Spring went to 2 overtimes. I mean, Wantagh, Manhasset 1-goal game. This game, 1-goal game. I mean,
Wantagh Pequot yesterday, 1 goal as well.
Wantagh Pequot was a 1-goal.
Mm-hmm.
Who won that one?
Wantagh won 12-11.
Yeah, so it just shows you that the Power Conference works and makes sense because you're putting like-minded programs against each other, and who's benefiting? The kids. The kids are benefiting.
Exactly.
Because they're competing against kids that are equal to them, and then they're getting better. They're rising up.
Yep.
It's a totally great idea. I'm glad the boys are doing it. I would love to see Suffolk do it. What a great Power Conference Suffolk would have.
You'd
Can
have
you imagine like Northport, Bayport, or Melville, Sayville, or Mount Sinai against
you'd have like a 15-team conference, like 15, 16 teams deep.
yeah,
Like
they want that's
that'd
a
be
good
great.
thing though.
I
That's a
know.
good thing.
I know. That'd be great.
Like the team, I mean, William Floyd would end up playing. I mean, you get to see Kayla Gilmore against Ava Mine, Floyd against Bayport. That's 2 Maryland kids who are going to be best friends in 2 years. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
I got to talk to my boy Gick and think if we can get them. You're right, but then they wouldn't be able to do like non-leaguers. That's the only negative. How do you cut it off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they only get 2 to begin with. So
right. Right, for 15 games. And like you said, they'd have to have 15 teams. We do the rankings. That's interesting. Very interesting conversation, but it just shows you that in the Nassau, it works. It works. And then you get your non-leaguers. I mean, Garden City's playing Radnor, Darien, Bayport. Shout out to Garden City playing Darien this Monday. We will definitely have somebody from our staff there. I don't know if it'll be Ellis, but it'll be somebody. Might have to be might have to take one of those rookies. One of the rookies might have to step up. But we want to cover as many games as we can. So we got to see Southside girls and then Southside boys coming off their biggest win, beating GC last week. They went up against definitely the C numero uno, the Wantagh Warriors. And I got to tell you something. I said this to you at the game. It was a great game. Like, it was fun to watch.
That was fun. And the juice was there. Like, you could feel it. I felt it as soon as I walked in. Like, I was like, okay, this is a huge game. Like you could tell both teams were fired up for this one because it's like on one hand, Southside, they come into that game undefeated, also nationally ranked as well. So that's a big deal for a program like that. And on the other hand, you have Wantagh, like you said, arguably the favorite in Class C in Nassau County, and they've had some big wins as well this season. And I'm sure that they saw the rankings, so they know that they're going up against a team that's now nationally ranked and a chance to take them down and give them their first loss. And sure enough, that's what happened. Ended up winning that game 15-11.
Yeah, that game went back and forth in the first half. And we talked about this. We gave the edge going into the game at the faceoff circle to Mike Melkonian over Will Greaves. Will Greaves, he was definitely one of your POGs, right?
Oh yeah.
Did he
1000%.
fight like a dog out
Yeah.
there? I mean,
DAWG.
DAWG, exactly. Because Melkonian is a stud. And I was talking to one of the photographers that's at the game, a young lady, and she also tells me she shoots for the wrestling team. So she loves shooting the face-off guys because it's like a wrestling match. And it was awesome. I mean, I would say it was pretty close 50-50 in the first half, but I'd give Melkonian the edge in the second half if you're just going off of wins and losses. But Greaves came up with huge wins, like after big goals.
Yeah, there were big ones in the fourth quarter that Greaves won, and like that's why Wantagh was able to win that game by 4 goals. And like really, it only became a 4-goal game like late. It was back and forth. It teetered the whole way. But because of those face-off wins in the fourth, that got them some insurance goals to give them the win.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. Wantagh as a team, the Martini triplets. I know there's 2 brothers and a cousin.
Yeah, Jake is the cousin, and then Dylan and Luke are brothers.
Okay, so the 28 and the 24 are brothers.
So the 28 and the 25 are brothers.
Okay, and 24 is a cousin.
Yeah.
Those guys are absolute animals. I mean, their offense was clicking, and the quarterback of that offense. And I'm telling you right now, mark my words, if this kid stays healthy, he will be a big time recruit this summer. Devin Passion, I'm going to say it because you know how much I love this kid.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is Michael Sowers, Grant Abent. I don't want to use Mike Powell because I think Mike Powell is kind of like the Michael Jordan of the ex-attackman in my life. Reminds me of the old Ryan Young player who was a great player at Chaminade Manhasset. This kid changes directions and quarterbacks on offense like no other. I mean, I was thinking about this after the game. I couldn't come up with an ex-attackman on Long Island. I mean, obviously Duffy last year, but he's now killing it at Carolina. That's Passion level.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a big kid. Coaches, if you're listening to this, don't pass on this kid.
Don't look at the size.
He's tough.
That's irrelevant.
He's tough. He's fast. He rides. The kid is he's the best attackman I've seen so far this year. Now, again, I haven't seen every kid. Have you seen an ex-attackman like him yet on the boys' side yet?
This season, no. Not yet.
No. And he's a 26. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Him and the little guy. What's the little Martini's name? Luke?
Yeah, Luke Martini, the youngest.
He's only an 8th grader, right?
Yep.
Those 2 are going to be playing 3 more years, 4 more years. Dude, Wantagh's in good hands. And then they got the Forthoffer kid who's the freshman at defense.
Yeah, Pat Forthoffer.
The goalie played well.
Gianni. Timely.
Yes. I mean, Wantagh, that was Wantagh's biggest win in a while.
That's a signature win for sure.
100%. Very impressed. Good job, Coach Polo. His boys were fired up. The Wantagh Warriors are back. Watch out for those guys. And I just want to bring this up. They played Bayport who
Yes.
arguably is the best C in Suffolk.
Mhm.
I know Shoreham will have something to say about that. They play at the end of the year. That's gonna be a classic. Bayport Shoreham. Bayport and Wantagh played to a 1-goal Bayport win earlier in the season. I would like the Bayport and Wantagh coach to text me and let me know why they played, because they very well could be playing again on LIC Saturday. It's right. The boys play on Saturday, June
Saturday.
1st. That game, oh man, that's a Bayport. We're gonna see Bayport in the next 10 days. I am excited to watch Bayport play.
Oh, me too. I mean, they gotta feel like this has to be their year, no? They gotta feel it.
Yeah, they won a state championship with Brian Ward and Billy Baker's group. So Brian is 2013. He was probably a senior. I remember. Did they win the state championship or did they lose? That was a really good team. They might have lost to Cold Spring that year. Yeah, they might have lost in the LIC that year. I'm not 100% sure. But right now, I mean, I know JD up in Syracuse is the team.
Mhm.
It's going to be Wantagh or Bayport against JD, unless Shoreham
Or
figures it
Shoreham.
out.
Yeah. That's yeah, and they're playing Bayport at the tail end. So Bayport Shoreham, that's like later on. That's the
Yeah, I
first
would like
week in
those
May, I
games to be a little bit closer so that they could play again
think.
and you could see the growth.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing a little too close together, but that's scheduling. Nothing you can do about it. Let's finish off the week. Last night, we drove out to God's country, which is I always call Rocky Point. Shout out to their AD, a good man, who's turning Rocky Point into a powerhouse with all his great coaches he's hiring. The boys got a great coach. Now the girls got a great coach. They played Westhampton, a C tassel. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about what you saw there.
Yeah, that's another one of those potential playoff previews, and two teams that definitely have a great shot to at least be in the final four. But Rocky Point with a little bit of get back, I guess, from last year when Westhampton got the higher seed in that matchup. So Rocky Point got this matchup this time around, but another really good game, really competitive. Neither of us were surprised by that. We expected that to be the case, but we could start with the winning side with Rocky Point. And if you want to start with the offense, we could start with Mackenzie Moeller at attack. That she's a feeding maestro. Like she's always distributing the rock. Like gotta be always at or near the top of Suffolk County in assists. And she was 2-4 yesterday. And that was big for Rocky Point. Then from the midfield, Anna Wood. Anna Wood, she's another one. Like anytime we see her play, she always steps up and it's in different ways. Like yesterday, it was more scoring. The first time when we saw her against Comac, it was more so in the ground ball department. But like she's always making positive plays for Rocky Point. Then of course we have Kylie Lamoureux for Rocky Point as well. I mean that team just has so much talent. Cadence Adamo, only a freshman.
Yeah, I was mentioning that to Corey. I was talking to Corey today. I was really impressed with Adamo, and Adamo off ball is excellent. I like the offense Coach Kate put in because they're moving really well without the ball. Fiona Vu, she's great. She was unbelievable between the lines. She probably had 3 or 4 self clears plus huge ground balls. I thought they did a really good. I mean, listen, Westhampton has arguably one of the best players in the country with Reese King. I mean, she's an absolute alpha female. I mean, what did she have? She went what 3-1, 3-2, or something.
Yeah, I believe 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, she's an alpha and does a great job for Westhampton. You know, it's funny. Both goaltenders I thought were big factors. I thought Breezy had more opportunities to make big saves. Farnan made one really good kick save on a free bow. It's funny. The free bows, if you could go 50% as a goaltender, that's awesome.
You'll take that any day of the week.
Oh yeah, if you could have 8 free throws and only give up 4 goals, you'll take it. So it's funny when you look at stuff like that because these girls shoot so well now. I mean, like
Yep.
Reese King is like money when she takes free throws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like Rick Barry shooting free throws. For those of you who don't know who Rick Barry is, Google it. He used to shoot underhand.
Underhand.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought the game went really well. I mean, anybody at Westhampton, you know, that you thought stepped up?
Yeah, Ava Derby for Westhampton. She had a sick goal, I thought, where she kind of split the defense and finished with a powerful shot. Then on the other end, she had what a great dime that went to Peyton
Oh,
Warby, just kind of threading the needle there.
oh, we got to get that. Ben got that on his expensive
Yeah.
camera. I know you got it on your phone.
No, we got the HD.
Dude, that was a great pass. Who was that to? Werby? Who was that to?
Yeah, to Warby.
That was a great look. That was like, oh my God, that looked like the Knicks last night in the first 3 quarters against the Celtics. I mean,
Yeah.
that was fun to watch. That was really fun to watch. But you know what it is? These girls are so talented now. Their skills, you know, thanks and a little shout out to who you're wearing on your head. Gate Lacrosse has changed the girls' game with their sticks. They have. I mean, back in the day, you couldn't throw passes like they throw now, but having the pocket up high, because the pocket was always low.
Yep.
Gate was the one who changed it. And now these kids are just, I mean, they're throwing, like you said, they're throwing dimes. It's like Mahomes to Kelsey, the way they're throwing it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's exciting to see the level of play that we're getting to see. And tomorrow, I know you got a big one tonight with Northport Melville boys, but tomorrow we go triple header.
Yes, we do.
Coach Wink's not working tonight, and not because I have to take a nap, because I have grandparent duty. I got my 2 little grandson and daughter coming over, and my wife and I have to babysit. But tomorrow, what a triple header! I got to talk about it. I'm sorry. I know we like to
No,
keep it quiet.
no, well, yeah,
Wantagh,
the cat's kind of been out of the bag to some people anyway, so I think it's all good.
10 o'clock at Wantagh, girls, Sacred Heart, the
Yep,
Academy.
that's right.
Not Sacred Heart. It's the Academy. That's what we're going to call them. I'm excited to see them. I got to see them in Winter League, and those girls could ball. And I think that's going to be a great game because we know how good Wantagh is. And then we got a national level game, a game where 2 national ranked teams in the top, I think 10. I think both teams are in the top 10, right?
Well, we know one is for sure. We're gonna have to go back and double check the rankings.
I believe it's New Canaan from Fairfield County, Connecticut. It's taking the
Yep.
luxury bus down the New York 95 over the Throgs Neck Bridge. Got to take the Van Wyck to the LIE, coming to Wolf Hill Road
Yep.
to play the St. Ants.
Coming to church. Coming to church.
Canaan's coming to pray, baby. We're going to cover that, baby. That's going to be a gem.
Oh yeah.
We got Dev Russell.
And we got to see them back in Battle of the Sound. So
Oh, you're right. We know a few of them. A couple of them didn't play because of hockey. I did speak to Izzy Appelt's mom. Shout out to Harlem Lacrosse. Izzy's mom does a great job there. A great company if you want to donate to a great lacrosse company who helps kids. But New Canaan was without the Tully. I don't think the Tully girls played because they're hockey players. I think they were out. They didn't play with like 4 or 5 kids. So this should be a gem. Now, after we finish up at St. A's, Wolf Hill Road, we have a small, thank God, drive. Drive up to New York Ave, make a left on Jericho, a right on Oakwood, and head down to Huntington High School to get to see the Blue Devils battle their crosstown rival, Cold Spring Harbor Seahawks.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game, just so you know, that's been started. Coach Bond from Cold Spring raised his family in Huntington, so his boy was a Blue Devil, which is pretty interesting. He got to coach against his son. son's killing it at FDU. But that's a if anybody just wants to see a cool crosstown rivalry game, that's one of the better ones.
Yeah, you expect the atmosphere to be lively. I remember last year back at Cold Spring Harbor, that place was packed, and it was a great game. Cold Spring Harbor pulled it out in the end, but that was a fantastic finish. And of course, both teams get super fired up, super amped up for that one. So we expect that to be another high level close contest.
I don't think Huntington's beat them in a while. I don't know the last time Huntington's beaten them. I'm very, very curious. We always, as we head up to the games, we always ask each other, who are you feeling? You know, what team do you think's going to win this one? I don't know. I'm leaning a little Huntington right now.
Ooh.
I'm leading Blue Devil. I don't know.
Ooh.
I know I raised my kids in Cold Spring Harbor, but I'm not feeling that right now. I don't know why. Maybe I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Coach Bond is on the Mount Rushmore of coaches, and he always figures it out. When he beat Pleasantville last year, I told him it was the best win of his illustrious career.
Well, yeah, and especially defensively, like they're holding teams to like less than four goals a game. Like it's
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like he
something
held Port Washington to 3 goals, which is pretty legit.
yeah.
But they're not scoring at a high level. I
No,
wouldn't
that's
be
true.
surprised if it's a 7-6 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm curious to see the faceoff X because Cold Spring doesn't have a legit faceoff guy. They're using Sammy Bruno, who's more of a two-way midi at the faceoff X. Though he's done a good job this year. Huntington's got the kid Luca
Yeah. Luca Cuozo.
Cuozo. Great name, great name. But I'll let you finish up here, and I'm really looking forward to having this podcast next week and talking about some of the games we're going to cover. Because next week, if we do it on Friday, we got 2, 4, 6, 8. So we'll have 9 games to talk about.
All right.
Looking forward to it, buddy. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Yup. And just want to thank everyone that tuned into this podcast. And we'll talk to you next week for another edition of Weekly Crossbar.